So it's actually only a semi-nice sunny day again outside, so I thought that we would do a change of venue and come back outside and do our read aloud. And I was getting a little claustrophobic inside of the house. I kind of needed some fresh air too. So last time that we left off, the twins had just gotten the basket from Red Riding Hood Kingdom. Do you remember that? And someone else came inside too. And what happened? Yeah, she caught the whole place on fire and then left them in there to burn. Did they escape? Of course they did. So now they've gotten out of Red Riding Hood Kingdom. They found out who Jack is secretly in love with. Do you guys remember who that is? It's not Red, is it? Red wants to marry him. Who's he in love with? Yeah, Goldilocks, who is a wanted fugitive. So that's why they can never be together. So now they've gotten out of Red's kingdom and they are in, I believe, troll and goblin territory. So we're going to go ahead and start reading there. If you see any people walking behind me, it's just people walking their dogs or looking at me like I'm crazy. It's probably because I'm reading a book to my phone. It's fine, right? Alex and Connor were lost. We're not lost. I just don't know exactly where we are, Connor told her brother. So, in other words, we're lost, Connor said. All right, Connor, we're lost, Alex said, and hit him with the map. They had left Red Riding Hood Kingdom in such a hurry that they might have taken a wrong path. Alex looked down at the map, trying to see where they made a wrong turn, and kept walking into bushes and trees. We could be in Fairy Kingdom, or perhaps we're back in Charming Kingdom, she said. But the eastern gate of Red Riding Hood Kingdom is so close to so many borders. We could be in the Sleeping Kingdom for all I know. How is anyone supposed to find their way around this place? It's just a bunch of trees and dirt roads and the occasional castle, Connor said angrily. We're never going to get home. It's just a slight setback, Alex said. We'll be back on track before you know it. So we've talked about being optimistic and pessimistic, right? So who do you think is the optimistic character right now? Who's seeing the good in things? Alex, right? And who's being the pessimistic character who's pointing out all the negatives and the bad? That's pessimistic. Yeah, Connor. That's how they're feeling right now. Alex is trying to be optimistic, glasses half full, and Connor is being pessimistic, which is more glasses half empty. And exactly what track are we on? Connor asked. I hate to bring this to your attention, but we've only collected 3 of the 8 wishing spell items, and we have no idea what 2 of them even are. And to be frank, we're not even sure if the wishing spell will work if we do collect everything. Don't be so negative, Connor, Alex said. Alex, I'm just being realistic, Connor said. We still have so many places to go and so much more ground to cover. And after seeing that weird jungle woman in Red Riding Hood's castle take a chunk of the basket, we may not be the only ones even going after this wishing spell thing. What if we don't succeed? Have you thought about that? If we'll be stuck here forever? She hadn't thought about it, and she didn't want to think about it. She was afraid that thinking about it made it much more possible. Alex inspected the map further, tracing it with her index finger. All right, I think I figured out what we did wrong, Alex said. We? Connor said. You've been hogging the map since we got it. All right, I think I figured out what I did wrong, Alex said, her cheeks reddening. Why do you think her cheeks are reddening? How is she feeling right now? Maybe embarrassed or mad? Yeah, good. Good thoughts. The path we should have taken is on the other side of the forest next to us. We'll walk through the forest and get on the correct path, and then we'll be on our way into the Fairy Kingdom. Great, Connor said. They walked off the path and into the forest beside them. After walking for a while, they noticed that the forest was still very eerily quiet. Too quiet, especially for Connor. He had a bad feeling in the pit of his stomach since they'd entered the forest. Do you ever get just a bad feeling, like you can just feel something bad is about to happen? It's kind of like a bad omen, right? Yeah, like your intuition's kicking in. The trees grew taller here, but whenever the twins looked up, there were no birds or bugs or anything to be seen gliding from tree to tree. The whole forest, excluding the trees, seemed lifeless. Hey, Alex, Connor asked. Yes, Connor? Alex said. Have you noticed that we haven't seen any birds or animals for a while, he said. No, I haven't. I've been a little preoccupied, Alex said, still looking down at the map. I'm just saying, don't you think it's kind of strange we're the only... Ah! Without warning, the twins were jerked suddenly upward and suspended into the air. They were dangling above the ground in some sort of roped net. They had walked right into a trap. What's going on? Alex yelled. What is this? It's some kind of trap, Connor said. Help! Alex screamed. Somebody help us! Unfortunately for them, their cries were heard by the wrong people. Two figures ran through the forest straight toward them. One was tall and lean, and the other was short and round. Eghorn, we got something, he said in a low, growly voice of the smaller. It's about time, the high-pitched, raspy voice of the taller one said. They came close, and the twins could make out their frightening faces of a goblin and a troll standing before them. The goblin was gangly and thin, with big yellow eyes and pea-green skin. Can you picture that color, pea-green? Not P-E-E, but P-E-A, like the vegetable that you eat. The troll was fat and frumpy, with a huge nose and horns. Both had big, pointy ears that stuck out the sides of their head. Let us go, Connor demanded. You can't do this, Alex yelled. The goblin and the troll paid no attention to what Alex and Connor were saying. They just stared at the twins like insects in a jar. Ooh, how old do you think they are, Bobblewort? Said the goblin. Plenty of time to serve, the troll said. What do you mean, serve? Connor said. You'd better not hurt us. Let us out of this net right now, or I'll report you to the local authorities, Alex said, not even knowing who she could be referring to. They'll grow bigger and stronger every day, the troll said. Bobblewort, get in the cart, the goblin instructed. They're going to make the perfect slaves. The twins struggled hard against the net as if they were... Let me try that sentence again. The twins struggled as hard against the net when they heard the word slaves. They remembered what Froggy had told them over tea. The trolls and goblins had been banished for kidnapping and enslaving innocent people. And now Alex and Connor were living proof that this was still happening. How were they going to escape this? Bobblewort the troll ran off and returned a moment later, driving a small cart pulled by a frail donkey. Eghorn the goblin caught a rope above the net, and the twins fell hard into the cart. They continued to fight against the restraints of the net, but there was no use. Eghorn climbed aboard the cart and sat next to Bobblewort. They both took the reins and whipped the donkey belligerently until the cart reached full speed. They traveled for the rest of the day. All the twins could see through the net were treetops and sky zipping past them. Alex, what are we going to do? Connor asked, still fighting against the ropes of the net. I don't know, Alex said. She was trembling like a small dog. Alex managed to squirm her way to a seated position under the net where the troll and goblin were taking them. They were headed straight toward a line of boulders the size of mountains. Alex gasped. She recognized the rock formation from the map. What is it? What do you see? Connor asked her. They're taking us into troll and goblin territory, Alex said, completely white-faced. I can see the boulders that surround it. They remembered Froggy telling them the borders had been placed around the territory to keep the trolls and goblins inside, but clearly the cart had squeezed through a crack between two of the boulders. The inhabitants had found a way around their imprisonment. The cart went around the boulders and into the kingdom, but there was nothing to see. There were no trees or buildings or life of any kind. For miles around them, the land was only littered with piles of rubble and broken bits of stone. I don't understand, Connor said. Where do they live? It looks just like a junkyard, Alex said. The cart went through a gigantic hole in the ground and traveled down deep into the earth. It was pitch black, and the twins could barely see their hands in front of their faces. The smell of mildew and decay was horrible. The whole kingdom must be underground, Alex said. After descending in the dark for quite a distance, They saw tiny lights ahead of them. We've talked about descending a lot. We've talked about the word descendants and like in descending order. So if it's descending, it's going down. Good. They came from lanterns scattered around a group of humans digging tunnels. What are people doing down here? Alex asked. Someone's driving by jamming to some music, huh? What are people doing down here? Connor asked and saw the trolls and goblins behind them. Faster! The trolls and goblins demanded, whipping the humans. That would be scary, wouldn't it? Alex had to cover her eyes at the sight. They must be slaves. Oh, Connor, this is horrible. This is so horrible, she said. Connor hugged her sister and cried into his shoulder. It's okay, Alex. We'll find a way out of this. Oh, I guess she's going to park over there, listen to music. Where did all this noise suddenly come from? My goodness. I'm easily distracted. We might have to do a shorter reading aloud. Now there's a chainsaw. It's so peaceful for a few minutes. Oh, it's a motorcycle. Oh, it's the neighbor on a motorcycle. Can you hear it? He's actually a really, really sweet guy. I like having him as a neighbor. We'll forgive his noise for a minute, won't we? I don't know what the rest of it is. All right, back to it. Maybe she'll turn her music off eventually. Connor, it's okay, Alex. We'll find a way out of this, Connor said, but even he was scared. There were hundreds of huts and small homes stacked on top of one another around them. It was an enormous underground world. This place must be like one giant ant colony, Connor said. He's calling their underground system an ant colony. He's not comparing using like or as. He's calling one thing something else. So what is that? What type of figure language does that make it? Yeah, it's a metaphor. Good job. It's very similar to a simile, but they don't use like or as. They call something the other object it's being compared to. The cart moved through the stone arc with large statues, one of a goblin and one of a troll on the other side of it. They were frightening with harsh features, and they were anything but welcoming. A sign carved into the arc read, "Be troll, be goblin, or be afraid." Most people just have welcome mats, Connor said. Past the arc was a long tunnel constructed of stones. The cart traveled through the arc, and a light could be seen at the end of the tunnel. There was much noise coming from the end of the tunnel, a combination of high-pitched laughter, rumbling conversations, and a loud cackling. What is cackling? Yeah, it's almost like evil laughter, isn't it? So do you think this is a good place? No. They're in trouble, aren't they? This might be the most trouble they've been in yet. This is scary. The story's definitely taken like an ominous turn, hasn't it? The cart traveled through an arc, and light could be seen at the end of the tunnel. Oh, I read that. I'm sorry. That's okay. I'm going to keep going with it. There was much noise coming from the end of the tunnel. A combination of high-pitched laughter, rumbling conversation, and loud clanking. The twins were soon driven into a massive common room with hundreds of goblins and trolls spread everywhere on numerous levels. Some were even hanging from a chandelier. That's crazy. Everything was made of stone. They ate and drank from stone plates and goblets, and sat on stone chairs and stone tables. They were served by the other enslaved men and women. Each troll and goblin behaved in a more vulgar way than the last. Do you think vulgar has a positive connotation or a negative connotation? Yeah, vulgar is not a positive word. It's a negative connotation. Good. In the center of the chaos, on the platform overlooking the room, were two thrones. A troll king sat in one, and a goblin king sat in the other. A crown made of rock was displayed directly between them, just above their heads, demonstrating that they equally shared power over the kingdom. They watched over the citizens with crude smirks, enjoying the festivities around them. Guys, I think we're going to stop there for today. It's getting really loud. So we've introduced our new setting, and we know that Alex and Connor are not in a good place. Okay, I'm going to leave it off for today. We've been doing some really long read alouds lately, so I think a nice short one will be a good start to a Monday. All right, I love you, and I can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.